are sick and tired of flock cameras because they don't want to end up like communist China, where they are constantly evaluated and watched at every turn.
Every man's conscience is his own hangman. And in order to escape the sense of guilt that they have, they flock to communism, which denies all personal guilt. The only kind of guilt there is for communism is the guilt of someone else. There's not even wanting a certain type of social reformer who will become interested in the reformation of society in order to take his conscience off his own guilt.
There you go. All right, from Matt Von Swole, it says, breaking, nearly 20,000 people are publicly vouching for a man accused of cutting down flock cameras in a small West Virginia town.
A wild story tonight where it appears nearly 20,000 people have vouched for the whereabouts of a man accused of destroying flock cameras in West Virginia. Thousands of people have publicly said they were with or saw 20-year-old Wesley Jackson during the time he was accused of the crime, with comments such as, "Couldn't be him. He was helping me replace the roof on a homeless shelter. And I saw him serving at a soup kitchen at the time of the incident." He has pleaded not guilty to the crimes against him.
That's funny. People are standing up for him. It says here, Flock just got caught by a reporter. Their cameras are secretly tracking people in real time.
You're saying Flock does not track people, correct?
Track people, that's right, and hold their movements like you asked. We're not tracking people.
But what do the Condor cameras do? They literally are designed to track a person, aren't they?
Not to track a person, no.
This is a Flock camera known as a Condor. Unlike the Falcon license plate reader camera, you'll notice this does track the movements of people. Whether or not it was designed to specifically track a person, you can see right now, in real time, no matter which way I move, the camera moves with me.
And that's not all that those cameras do, by the way. We've seen how they can even track your phone screen to find out what you're looking at.
I could watch a man rollerblade and then take a break to watch rollerblading videos on his phone. How? Because the camera's AI automatically zoomed in on it. Just like it zoomed in on a couple arguing at a street market in Atlanta. So what? They're still anonymous, right? No, they're not. Within 2 minutes of open source intelligence using a commercial facial recognition engine, I found out that one of them just finished medical school and the other is dealing with chronic irritable bowel syndrome.
There's a reason why some cops openly brag about how you can't even breathe without them knowing about it.
You have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing about it. I already know where you were.
Yeah.
I have it on camera. I have you on camera walking up, ringing the doorbell, taking the package, and literally running away.
Wow. Okay. And then that lady, turned out that guy was making a false accusation of that woman, and he was extremely arrogant about it, which was pretty unbelievable. Here's another one. Police in Winona, Minnesota are stunned after every single one of their flock cameras were suddenly removed in a single night.
Developing story in Winona. Police there say 10 flock cameras around the city have been cut down and stolen. Officials say the automated license plate readers were sawed off at their poles in Winona and on the Mississippi River Bridge in Buffalo County. While police departments across the region use the technology to investigate crimes and locate missing persons, civil liberties advocates have raised privacy concerns about the camera's widespread use. Officials tell us an investigation.
I mean, that is pretty weird for them to be doing what they said in the previous video. Glenn Beck says vandalizing is not a good idea. You should, probably not engage in crimes. Says flock cameras with a crowbar might make for a viral video, but it's a really bad solution. Not only will you face consequences, but it'll make the case for constant surveillance even stronger.
The camera doesn't read the plate of a stolen truck. It reads every plate. It reads yours on the way to work, yours on the way to church, yours on the way to the doctor, yours on the way to the lawyer, the gun store, the divorce attorney. And the newer ones don't stop at the plate. They log the make, the model, the color, the dent in your fender, the rack on your roof, the sticker in your back window. Some of them track people and faces, not just cars. And all of it drops into a searchable database and sits there for weeks. Now, one camera is a tool. 90,000 of them wired into a network across thousands of communities is not a tool. It's a standing answer to a question nobody asked. And that question is, where has this person been for the last month? Now, you can talk about theoretical abuse, but let's talk about real stuff that is already happening. Officers in Georgia have been arrested over the misuse of the system. Police around the country have lost their jobs for running plate readers on women that they're interested in. Columbus officer ran immigration searches. Reporters found police using a search function to hunt for people by tattoo and T-shirt, not cars and people. In Los Angeles, the department's own inspector general flagged how often the system falsely flagged vehicles as stolen, which means innocent drivers were getting pulled over in California at gunpoint because the software misread a letter. So cities are starting to cancel this. More than 50 of them, 39 in the first 5 months of this year alone. Syracuse pulled 131 cameras off the polls. Denver let its contract lapse. Los Angeles let its expire. Then, city after city, a different crew showed up and bolted a different camera onto the same pole. Now it's Axon. This is the taser company, the body camera company. They're already sitting inside of those police departments. Denver cut the camera count in half, shortened the data retention from 30 days to 21, and called it a victory. Syracuse changed the vendors and kept the network. Security expert Bruce Schneider said, leaving a flock for Axton is like quitting FanDuel because you're addicted to it and joining DraftKings. It's the same thing, okay? The problem is not the company. The problem is there is no rule. A contract gets renegotiated. A vendor will get swapped. Police chief retires. Council turns over. And every promise that protected you walks right out the door with that person leaving. The law is the only thing that survives the next election. If you're going to have flock cameras, you have to have law. Good news, we already have one. We've had it since 1791. There is another response out there, and I have to tell you, I understand it, but people are now going out and they're vandalizing these flock cameras. That is really bad. A man in New Mexico just violated he was arrested for taking out 13 of these flock cameras and told the TV station when they got him, I'd do it again. And I get the anger. But a man with a crowbar doesn't change anything. That a purchase order can't undo by Friday. You destroy them, you're only going to make the case for flock cameras even bigger. We got to get these hoodlums off of the streets, and they'll just go buy another one and replace it. Okay? You have to do something the next vendor can't undo, uninstall, replace. And the window's closing. So I'm going to tell you exactly, if you're against these flock cameras, and I am, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do. The window is closing here because they're turning everything into infrastructure. There are now reports of cameras hidden inside what looks like ordinary speed limit signs. And the CEO who last year compared the people mapping his camera locations to terrorists spent this month apologizing for the word. But this is not a company in retreat. That's a company just waiting you out. Infrastructure is the hardest thing on earth to remove. That's why I said you don't understand what Donald Trump is doing. By the way, I have to tell you about this phone call that Donald Trump called me yesterday, and I talked to him about this very thing. It's why when he says we have $18 trillion in infrastructure coming in, the money coming in, they're building factories. That's what he's doing. You don't remove factories, okay? Once the polls are up and the contracts renew on autopilot, the line item stops getting read out loud at meeting. It stops being a decision anybody makes and just starts being the weather. Okay? 3 companies, 1 agency, no laws, 30 years. It ended.
He makes a good point. You know, I mean, when people are destroying these things, then that's just another purchase order for them. And it's more economic growth for their company because they get to sell 2 cameras or 3 cameras instead of 1 camera. So people need to go after it from a legal perspective, show up at city council meetings and make it clear that the sane people in the city don't want this sort of behavior and this sort of constant tracking like they have in communist China, right? I mean, they track everything that you do, and then if you lose too many social credit points, then you can't go to the grocery store, can't go to public transportation, can't rent a house. Like, you have a lot of government-created homeless people in China, so we don't want to go that direction. All right, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, comments are huge for the algorithm. Have a fantastic day.